Hi there, Joshua here. I actually bought a new maths textbook today and I started reading it and I couldn't put it down. It wasn't interesting, it was just very sticky. Right, let's get on with the lesson. Right, so lesson 2 on area. In this lesson we're going to be finding the areas of all sorts of triangles. If you remember last lesson we were only looking at right angled triangles. I'll actually do just one example now, just to remind you what we did last lesson. So last lesson we were looking at right angled triangles. And let's say this side was 6 centimetres, and this side was 3 centimetres. So how did we find the areas of these sorts of triangles? Well, we did it by forming a rectangle that's twice as big as the triangle. You do it by joining these two corners, by sort of drawing lines parallel to these two sides to get a rectangle that's twice as big as the original triangle. And then you just find the area of the rectangle and then halve the answer at the end. So this rectangle has an area, the length and width are just 6 and 3. So the area of this rectangle is just 6 times 3, which is 18. So the area of the rectangle is 18 square centimetres. And the triangle is half as big, so the area of the triangle is just half of 18, which is 9 square centimetres. So I'm just using R for area of rectangle, T for area of triangle. And the units I'm using are square centimetres. If you remember, a square centimetre is just a square with sides 1 centimetre. So this is a square centimetre. And the rectangle has an area of 18 square centimetres. That just means 18 of these squares would fit inside the rectangle. The triangle has an area of 9 square centimetres, which means that it would cover 9 of these squares. So that is what we did in lesson 1. Right, now what about triangles that don't have right angles? Let's find the area of some of those. So here's a triangle that doesn't have a right angle. Now to find the areas of these sorts of triangles, you need to know 2 lengths. You need to know one of the sides. So let's say this side is 8 centimetres. And the other length you need to know is the distance from this side to the other corner. But it's got to be the distance straight up. So it's got to be this distance here. And I'll just mark in a right angle to show that it is the distance straight up from this side. And let's say that's 3 centimetres. And with those 2 measurements you can actually find the area of the triangle. Now often the side that we're given is called the base of the triangle. We call it the base. And confusingly, the base doesn't have to be the bottom side of the triangle. It is here, and it often is, but it doesn't have to be. That's the base. And then the distance measured from the base to the other corner is called the height. It's got to form a right angle with the base though. So the height and the base are always at right angles to each other. The height is straight up from the base. So with those 2 measurements we can find the area of the triangle. We do it in a method. The method we use is very similar to the method we used last lesson. We sort of draw a rectangle that's twice as big as the triangle. The way we do it here is we draw lines from either end of the base, sort of level with the dotted line, level with the height, and then through the top corner. And we end up with a rectangle that's twice as big as the original triangle. You can see it's twice as big if you look either side of the dotted line. On the right hand side, these 2 triangles are the same, they're just copies of each other. And on the left hand side, these 2 triangles are the same as well. So the rectangle is twice as big as the triangle. So all we need to do is find the area of the rectangle and then just halve the answer. Now to find the area of the rectangle we need to know its length and width. Well, this side is 8 centimetres, but what's this side? Well, it's the same as the dotted line, it's the same as the height of the triangle. Just 3 centimetres, and that's why we need to know this length because it ends up being one of the sides of the rectangle. So let's work out the area of the rectangle now. It's just length times width, 8 times 3. So I'm just going to use R for area of rectangle, which is 24 square centimetres, which means that the area of the triangle, which is half of that, must be 12 square centimetres. 12 square centimetres, because the triangle's half the size of the rectangle. Right, let's do a few more examples. Let's say I give you this side this time. Let's say this side is 10 centimetres. So we've got a side, but remember to find the area, the other length we need is the distance from this side to the other corner, but it's got to be straight across. It's got to form a right angle with the given side. So this is the other distance we need. So let's say it's 5 centimetres. Now we can find the area of the triangle. We've got enough information. Again, usually we call the given side the base. And it might seem a bit strange here that the base is on the side and not on the bottom of the triangle. But as I said, any side can be the base. And the distance measured at right angles from the base to the other corner is called the height. And again, it might seem strange here that the height's not going up, but the height is always measured at right angles from the base. So the direction of the height just depends on where the base is. Right, so we can now find the area of the triangle. We've got enough information. Again, we'll do it by drawing a rectangle. As before, we go from either end of the base, we draw lines sort of level with the dotted line, so parallel to the height, and then through the third corner. We end up with a rectangle twice as big as the original triangle. You can see that if you look either side of the dotted line. Below the dotted line, these two triangles are the same, and above the dotted line, these two triangles are the same. Now the area of the rectangle is just, well, this side is 10, and what's this side? Well, it's the same as the dotted line. It's the same as the height of the triangle, just 5. And again, that's why we need to know the height of the triangle, because it ends up being one of the sides of the rectangle. So the area of the rectangle is just 10 times 5, which is 50, just length times width. Area of rectangle is 50 square centimetres. So the area of the triangle is half of that, because it's half the size, which is 25. So the area of the triangle is 25 square centimetres. Right, let's do a couple more. So let's say this side is 7 centimetres, and let's say this distance, this corner, is 6 centimetres. Right, do we have enough information to find the area of this triangle? Well, yes, we do, because we've been given one of the sides. We've also been given the distance measured at right angles from that side to the other corner. And those are the only two measurements that you need. That's enough information. The side that we're given is often called the base, so I'll just call it the base. Just use B for base. And the distance measured at right angles from the base to the other corner is called the height for that base. And the reason these two measurements are all we need to find the area is because they're the length and the width of the rectangle that are formed when you draw that rectangle. They're the length and the width. So you only need to know these two measurements to find the area. Right, so let's find the area of this triangle now. We've got all the information we need. Let's draw a rectangle. Again, we'll go from either end of the base, just level with the height, parallel to the height, and then through the top corner. So the area of the rectangle, well, this side is 7. This side is 6, the same as the dotted line, same as the height. So the area of the rectangle is 7 times 6, which is 42 square centimetres. 42 square centimetres. And the triangle is half the size of the rectangle, so you have to halve 42. So the area of the triangle is 21 square centimetres. Right, let's just do one more. Just do it over here. Let's say this side is 9 centimetres, and let's say the distance straight down is 4 centimetres. Right, do we have enough information to find the area of this triangle? Well, again, yes we do, because we've been given one of the sides. We've also been given the distance from that side, measured at right angles from that side, to the other corner. And that's all you need to find the area. So we've got enough information. Again, I'll call the side we've been given, I'll call that the base. Again, it might seem a bit strange that the base is on the top of the triangle, but the base can be any side, as I said. And then the distance measured at right angles from the base to the other corner is called the height for that base. So 4 centimetres is the height. And we can now find the area of the triangle. We've got enough information, so let's do that. We're going to do it by drawing a rectangle again. And as you probably guessed, 9 and 4 are going to be the length and width of the rectangle. So let's just draw it. You go from either end of the base, level with the height, and then through the bottom corner this time. And you get a rectangle twice as big as the triangle. So the area of the rectangle it's just going to be, well, this side is 9, this side is 4 centimetres. So the area of the rectangle is just 9 times 4, which is 36 square centimetres. And the triangle is half the size, so we need to halve 36 to get the area of the triangle, which is 18. So the area of the triangle is 18 square centimetres. Right, I've had enough of triangles for today. That's it. Now I'm going to stop there. I would have liked to have covered everything on triangles, but I think if I carry on, the lesson will be a bit too long. It'll be about another 10 minutes or so. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to do another lesson on triangles where I sort of summarise everything we've done so far, and also do a few harder questions on areas of triangles as well. So that'll be in lesson 3. Today we were looking at triangles that don't have right angles in them. To find the area of these sorts of triangles, I'll just emphasise again, you need to know 2 measurements. You need to know one of the sides, which I call the base, and you also need to know the distance measured at right angles from the base to the other corner. So it's got to form a right angle with the base, and I call that the height. And you just draw a rectangle from either end of the base through the other corner, and then you find the area of the rectangle, and then you halve the answer, and that's the area of the original triangle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some questions very similar to these at the end of the video for anyone who wants a bit of extra practice. So I'm also going to put the answers after that as well, so you can pause the video, have a go at the questions, and then look at the answers in that order. Right, here are the questions. Bye.